Woo! What's good, y'all? This is Henny, and I'm back with another video talking about my iPad and what are the top apps that I use to make music on this device. Johnny, you gotta go. Daddy's recording. Close your door. So, yo, for the last two and a half years, I completely changed my setup, the way I'm doing stuff, the way that I'm actually creating music. And it all came about because I had so much equipment, so many, speakers, monitors, keyboards, plugins, software, that I was so focused on the mix. I was so focused on making sure things sounded exactly the way they needed to be that I wasn't creating enough music throughout my week, throughout my day and things like that. And I was thinking to myself, how can I get back to when I was creating a lot faster, creating a lot more efficient, and creating a lot more convenient. So, I started looking into the iPad, right? I think back then I had an iPad 2 and, iPad 2 Air, yeah. And I started researching, seeing, what type of apps, had they, came out with over the last few years that have been substantial in creating music with the iPad. And what I found out was there was a ton of great apps already being developed, constantly being updated, and not just your normal GarageBand, which can help you and be great, but there are tons of others that are doing tremendous amounts of great things in the iOS community. And for me, I was like, okay, let me for real try to dive in there. I completely shut my studio down and I went and just got some headphones and made sure that I had an external, made sure I had like a MIDI keyboard, and I said, let's see what it can do. The first thing I did was take all my drums, all my loops, all my samples, the things that I knew I loved and used quite frequently, and I put them in my Dropbox folder. Once I put them in my Dropbox folder, I was able to access them from my iPad, and I could still kind of have the same sound, same kind of vibe and feel that I'm usually creating. So that was my first step, was trying to figure out my drums, because my drums is always key. Drums are always key. Fuck it. Let's just be real. I'll tell producers like this. One of the biggest things you can do as a producer, specifically in urban music, is to stay on top of drum programming, regardless of if you can play, if you can mix, if you can arrange well. Drum programming is always going to be key. So the first app is an app called AudioShare. AudioShare is an app where you can basically take all your sounds, all your beats, all your mixes, and basically categorize them. You can also trim, you can normalize, you can loop, you can put certain things in folders, you can export to your SoundCloud, export to Dropbox, export to your iCloud. It just has a ton of features, and it's probably one of the apps that I will always use on a daily basis because it's where I start. Regardless if I want to start in one app or another, I know that some of my sounds are always going to be in this app called AudioShare. Fairly inexpensive app, and that's definitely one of the first ones that I would tell you to go pick up, because with that app, you'll be able to at least have a very organized and easy to work with file management system for your music, for your sounds, for your drums, all of those things. AudioShare, telling you, it's the shit. No. The second thing for me was trying to find a digital audio workstation that I could really get familiar with. So what I did was I started out with an app called BeatMaker. I had a video back in, I think it was 2007, 2008. I don't even think the video's online. I think if you look, The Business iPhone makes a beat, something like that on Google, you'll probably see some news clips, some articles about it, but I really don't know where that video went. It was when I first started using the iPhone, and they had an app that you can make beats on the iPhone. It was called BeatMaker. And so I tried that, and I said, let me see if BeatMaker is updated. And of course, they had their BeatMaker 2 already up for like the past 2 years when I started. And BeatMaker is an incredible app. It's an incredible DAW. It allows you to, it has a built-in drum sequencer, has built-in sounds, has a built-in sampler, you can sequence, edit, arrange, mix, all within the app. It is kind of finicky when it comes to, using it with a 2016, 2017 device, but BeatMaker 3 is on the way and the beta is amazing. FYI. Be on the lookout for BeatMaker 3, but BeatMaker 2 was the first digital audio workstation that I used to kind of get my beats going. And so what I did was I said, okay, if this is my audio workstation and I got AudioShare as my file organization situation, where else can I get my sounds from, right? And so that's where I went to look all in the App Store, but it was hard to figure out what to do, you know, where to go, where to look, and what were actually rated really well. And so I went to a place called Audiobus, the forum. There's a great forum. I'll link it right here. It's forum.audiobee.us. And that is actually from the app Audiobus. And if you don't know what Audiobus is basically the brainchild behind bringing apps together, right? Digital audio workstations, plugins, sounds, they need to be able to talk to each other. And Audiobus is an app that allowed one program talk to the other program. So if I'm using a keyboard app on one program and I'm using, you know, a digital audio workstation on the other, they could talk to each other using what's called, you know, Audiobus. And so, you know, Apple implemented it using their technology, but Audiobus was one of the first to make that happen. And that's really changed the way that you're able to make music, because now you can take two different apps and let them talk to each other, even more than two different apps, because you can use effects in the middle. It gets complicated, but I'm telling you right now, it works very, very well. And that's what I'm doing to connect different apps together. Boom, back to it. I got a good digital audio workstation. I got a good file management system. Where am I getting my sounds? I went to the Audiobus forum and I just started, you know, perusing through the forum and seeing what people were talking about. Because one of the main things you want to do is see what real users are using and seeing why they love what they love. And I came across quite a few different apps and different plugins, different sounds, and I was trying them all. The great thing about iOS is the price point isn't really that high. So, I mean, you can start out with these apps that might be $5 here, $7 here. There might be some more that are like $30, $40. Those are very expensive apps. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at it in relation to big software on your laptop or your computer and stuff like that, those are hundreds of dollars. So, the investment is a lot lower. Woo, it's getting hot. These lights. Hey, so check it out. Boom, I'm in a new setup. A lot of memorabilia, a lot of the things that I love kind of scattered around these random bookcases. But a couple of awards. The wall's not big, so I couldn't put all the, just know that, you know, your boy's been working for a long time. I'm gonna be bringing you more reviews, more insight, more knowledge, more inspiration right here at the Hangout. And this is where I'm gonna be at, talking to y'all, talking shit. My bad, Johnny. Talking things about things. One of my favorite sound apps that I've gone to use almost on all my records is by Moog. It's called Model 15, and it's one of their first, I think it's that Moog's first actual modular synthesizer for the iPad, and it is amazing. I mean, the way that they took their time and really made sure that the sounds are rich and lush. Like, I'm telling you, the bass sounds, the synth sounds, the lead sounds, it's crazy. So I'm using it a lot for my basses. I'm using it a lot for, some of my lead sounds and stuff like that. And this app is dope as hell. It's not cheap. It's about $29. But like I said, in comparison to other apps or other software out there, you know, you can still get a lot more bang for your buck here working in iOS. That's the third thing. So, I mean, I got a good digital audio workstation. I got a good file management system. That's one of my best sounds that I'm using. And now let me tell you a little bit about what has been, I think, my favorite app of last year. And this is an app called Blocs Wave. If you've seen my series, Adventures in Beat Making, and me using the iPad, using, you know, my creativity on the go, right? Shameless plug. You'll know that I'm using this app a lot, right? This app was created by Novation, and what this app can do, I mean, they're updating it like week by week. So, I mean, what it's going to be able to do, I couldn't tell you. But what I'll tell you right now, it has really allowed me to create great ideas very fast because of the way that you organize your files. So if you go back to what I was talking about Dropbox, importing your files, bringing it into AudioShare, making sure that you'll be able to have all your stuff categorized, organized. I took that concept and I brought it into this app called Blocs Wave. What Blocs Wave can do is basically take all of your samples, all of your loops, as long as you organize them, right? Keyword, organize. By tempo, by key, if you know key. Shout out to my engineer Cap. He's got perfect pitch. He's really always helped me with all my key situations because I do not have perfect pitch and I would not be able to tell you what key most of the stuff is in. I just like to play it because it sounds funky, and that's what I try to do. Anyway, Blocs Wave is one of these apps that'll change the way you make music on the go, creatively, fast. And as long as you have the stuff that you make, like the sounds and the loops and the samples, if you're sample based like I am and you like to play around samples and stuff like that, it'll be very easy for you to take these ideas and move them to your digital audio workstation. The first thing it reminded me of is when I was 18, the only piece of equipment that I had was an Ensoniq ASR10. And I mean, it's probably one of the best keyboards ever made, period. Best samplers. I still have it today. I don't use it that much, but I still know a lot of friends, producers who are still making Grammy Award winning music straight, using that device. Don't ever think that only having one device or not having enough equipment will not allow you to get to the next level. There's tons of guys who've done it. But what I'm saying is that keyboard had only 8 tracks, right? It really only had 8 tracks or 8 sound banks that you could put sounds in. And I started to think, like, if I could start simplifying my music, because like I said before, I had so much, it was hard for me to get my ideas out. So I started simplifying my ideas and allowing them to say, all right, if I only have 8, let's go with these 8. And by the time I got 8 tracks, I should have at least a full piece that I could sequence out, right? And Blocs Wave allowed me to do that. It's simple, it's easy, and you can take it anywhere. And a lot of times I'll have so much imported into Blocs Wave, I don't necessarily need anything else besides my iPad and my headphones, because I've organized, I've taken the time to be diligent about my keys and my tempos, and it just makes it easy for me to get these ideas out. So the 5th thing that I want to tell you guys about is another digital audio workstation that I started using just recently, probably within the last 2 to 3 months, and that's Cubasis 2. Now with Cubasis 2, it basically takes the ideas of what I was using with BeatMaker, but allowing you to do a lot more with the audio, a lot more with the mixing, a lot more with the importing and the exporting, and making things simpler. And as I was dealing with BeatMaker, it's a great app. It's just there's newer technology that I would love to see implemented in an app like that. And so Cubasis 2, which is made by Cubase, if any Cubase users are out there, it's a great utility, specifically if you're using Cubase on a laptop. Cubasis 2 works very well in conjunction with Cubase on your Mac or your PC. What I love about Cubase is, it's just a step in the right direction when it comes to digital audio workstations and the things that you can do to make your sounds a little bit more polished, a little bit your sequences, your edits, your mixes, all of those things. So with that being said, Cubasis 2, I love it. There is still some quirks that the organization inside the app when I'm importing my sounds, it's not, kind of gives me issues there. Some of the editing features is kind of funny, but what you got to realize is if this is something that you want to do, specifically if you started on any other type of digital audio workstation, any other type of device, you just got to go hard and learn it in and out. Check those forums, Google, how do I do this? How do I do that? For the most part, you'll be able to get those answers. The problem is we get in there thinking that it's just going to be easy, and it's still a learning curve. Everything's going to have a learning curve, right? When you're trying to start something new. The main thing is, are you going to allow yourself that time and that diligence and that grit to be able to sit there when times are frustrating and get through it till you start getting some things that are good. And then once you do, you'll realize how convenient it is, and you'll be like, damn, I should have done this a long time ago. So that's it, man. That's the top 5 apps that I'm using right now. There's tons more that I'll tell you about. And I got seminars, webinars coming up soon. If you like this, give it a hell yeah. If you don't like it, give it a hell no. That's all I'm saying. Subscribe to your boy. It's hanging out with Henny, man. I'm out.